I've lived in Pinewood Estates for more than 40 years. In that time, I've seen kids grow up, neighbors move in and out, and the countless seasons paint the streets with color. But nothing quite prepared me for the day the Homeowners Association decided to chop down my cedar tree and for what happened afterward. The cedar had been in my backyard for decades. Planted by my father when he was a boy, it had grown into a majestic tree that offered shade, privacy, and a touch of history. Birds nested in its branches, and my grandchildren loved climbing it. It wasn't just a tree, it was a part of the family. Then, one morning, I found a letter from the HOA in my mailbox. They claimed the tree violated community guidelines and it must be removed immediately. According to them, it was too close to the fence, posed a hazard, and it had grown too tall. I tried reasoning with them, explaining the tree's health, stability, and the decades of standing safely. They didn't budge. Their decision was final. A few days later, I returned from a grocery run to see workers cutting down my beloved cedar. Chainsaws roared, branches fell, and a cloud of sawdust hung in the air. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There had been no more consultation, no more compromise, just the sudden destruction of something irreplaceable. I spent the next few weeks documenting the damage, consulting a local arborist, and reviewing the community's bylaws. It became clear that the HOA had acted overzealously. They had no more emergency justification for removing a perfectly healthy tree. It didn't want revenge, but it knew the situation demanded accountability. Then, nature stepped in. A fierce storm rolled through Pinewood Estates about 6 weeks later. Rain poured, wind howled, and the branches crashed against everything in sight. When the storm subsided, he walked outside, partly dreading what he would find. To my surprise, my backyard was largely unscathed minus saplings and the smaller trees had weathered the storm. But the hose fence, the very structure that had so confidently cited my tree as a hazard, had collapsed entirely under the wind and the rain. Sections were scattered, posts uprooted, and the debris littered the common area. I couldn't help but smile. The irony wasn't lost on me. The same tree they claimed was dangerous had stood safely for decades, while the funds they relied on to justify their rules couldn't withstand a storm that my tree would have survived. After the storm, he approached the HOA board to discuss repairs and the liability. Surprisingly, they were quiet. No more letters, no more threats, just a tacit acknowledgement that perhaps their judgment wasn't flawless. He didn't glow, they simply documented the damage and he reminded them that nature sometimes teaches lessons more effectively than meetings ever could. The cedar itself had been irreplaceable, of course. He planted a young cedar in the same spot, nurturing it carefully, but he knew it will take decades to reach the grandeur of its predecessor. Every time he watered it, he think of resilience, patience, and the importance of standing firm in the face of overreach. I've shared this story with neighbors, friends, and the family, often with a chuckle at the unexpected twist of fate. It's a reminder that sometimes authority can overstep, but patience, preparation, and the nature's timing can restore a sense of justice. The old cedar may be gone, but the lesson it left behind will endure for generations. For anyone facing an overreaching HOA, remember or document everything. Know your rights, and understand that sometimes the consequences of hasty actions come in unexpected ways. And for those who love true life stories of homeowner resilience, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. There are plenty more tales of standing up for what's right and sometimes seeing poetic justice unfold.